And recently I put on some Jethro Tull for the first time in many, many years. And as the miles rolled by, Ian Anderson's lyrics hit me like a slap in the face. They felt prophetic for the world that we are navigating today. The music has a perfect paradox to it, incredibly soothing, but sharp and analytical. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. How these timeless, cynical lyrics apply to our current cultural exhaustion and the radical solutions that I think we need to consider. And FYI, Jethro Tull is has a new album, Curious Remnants, and is touring in Europe in 2026. So now, no, they're not supporting me or sponsoring me. I would love that, but no. Okay, Gen X, we've been fed a nonstop diet of beautifully packaged lies, corporate propaganda, and systemic cons for as long as we can remember. After decades of hearing pure fiction, the truth starts to look like a foreign language. It's exhausting. But today, we're pulling back the curtains on that great American script. And I'm going to lay out exactly how we got played, how the political circus misses the point, and how to rebuild a self-reliant life the system can't touch. So let's dive in. I'm Island Punk, and welcome to GenX-Xpat. I resigned from the Alaska dream job when President Chucky got elected, and now live on this multicultural island of Mauritius, where I write and I make videos and I reflect on the current times through the Gen X lens. If that sounds interesting to you, please like and subscribe. It gives me hope that I am not just speaking out there into the void. So we live in an era of superficial algorithm-driven certainty. Yes, certainty. People don't want deep, nuanced truths anymore. They want comforting lies that fit into a 15-second soundbite. Ian Anderson nailed this 50 years ago when he wrote the song Thick as a Brick. He writes, "Your smile and your hand clasp of unctuous deceit will settle the business, never the heat." That unctuous deceit, that greasy corporate fake smile, is exactly what runs the world now. Whether it's greenwashing or political propaganda, society rewards a catchy slogan, easy answers over systemic solutions. People choose a tribe, put on a team jersey, and completely turn off their critical thinking. To be thick as a brick today means being willfully blind. It's knowing the financial system, the healthcare system, the political complex are totally rigged, but choosing to play along because, well, waking up is just too uncomfortable. But when you step out of the matrix, when you look back at the noise from a distance, you realize that refusing to be thick is the ultimate act of rebellion. That brings me to another Jethro Tull track from 1969, Living in the Past. Now, there's no year for walking in the green fields, which are mine, so I'll go living in the past. When Anderson wrote that, he was looking at a world suffocating from political polarization, the Vietnam War, and cultural shifting from human scale living to hyper commercialization. Sounds familiar. For a Gen Xer, this song hits home. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not performing some lazy nostalgia exercise. I'm claiming a profound anthem about intellectual self-defense and consciously unplugging. In a modern context, living in the past isn't about wishing you were back in 1985. It's about refusing to live in the manufactured present. Those green fields Ian Anderson wrote about represent human scale autonomy, simple community connection, and mental peace. Today, those fields have been paved over by the attention economy, 24-hour news cycles, and algorithmic outrage. When Anderson sings about being detached from all the worry, he's describing the precise survival strategy of an expat. You voluntarily step out of the Western cultural pressure cooker because you recognize that the worry is just a product being sold to keep you continually consuming. Because let's face it, we followed their script. Remember, work hard, build a family, and that effort guarantees a ticket to the middle class. And turns out the script was just fiction. We got student debt, we got medical debt, we got mortgage debt, we got credit card debt, and they got rich. Instead of a stable middle class life, reality hit us like a brick. It feels exactly like that Jethro Tull track, A New Day Yesterday. The opening line says it all. Yes, it's a new day yesterday, but it's an old day now. Think about the loop. Every election cycle, every corporate merger, every tech breakthrough is sold to us as a new day, a fresh start, a better economy, and of course it's going to fix the healthcare. But the second that new day arrives, the paint chips off and we realize it's exactly the same old day of the corporate exploitation and rising costs, broken systems, just replaced with a shiny new digital algorithm. We were told to treat our homes like speculative investments. We took on crushing debt for degrees that were supposed to unlock great jobs. We bought into expensive health insurance that we're too broke to actually use. Same old exploitation, new digital wrapper. The people who succeeded by the system's rules, too often, they're the ones driving a cutthroat, profit at all cost machine. Our political leaders aren't public servants. At best, they're full-time fundraisers whose only real policy is getting elected and then getting elected again. At worst, they are grifters and full-time influence peddlers. Criminals taking bribes and practicing favoritism, nepotism, and extortion. Meanwhile, the wars just keep grinding on, the corruption keeps humming along, and the military-industrial complex eats like royalty. Gen X, we did the work, but the wealth, it didn't trickle down. It went straight to the shareholders and the investors class. They own the housing markets, they own healthcare, and big corporations own our prisons and our educational system. And what did we get? Propaganda telling us that if we didn't get rich, we're losers. So, of course, what do? We did the most Gen X thing possible. We masked up. We used credit cards to fake it. We drowned in debt just to prove to the world we weren't falling behind. The game was rigged from the top, solidified the moment corporations were granted citizenship rights. I remember that. We've been thick as a brick for pretending it was more than just vaporware. I'm done pretending. I like living in reality. And if you're watching this, I'm betting you want to live in reality too. So how do we handle this exhaustion? I know people personally, people in the MAGA camp, who explain their choice to put President Chucky in charge. When you strip away the flags, what's underneath? It's a loop of repeated propaganda, and a desire to see their stock portfolios tick upward. It boils down to tribalism, a deep-seated human need to belong, and a bit of old-fashioned greed. Many of my colleagues claim it's poor parenting, and seriously, I'm all for starting at home with better parenting. But you have to recognize that this ocean of propaganda and greed has solidified into a rigid identity that only a veneer for the corporate takeover of our country. So, how do we stop this runaway train? Ian Anderson nailed that in his song Locomotive Breath. In the shuffling madness of the locomotive breath runs the all-time loser headlong to his death. Old Charlie stole the handle, and the train, it won't stop going. No way to slow down. This is the modern world, the shuffling madness of the daily grind. We are running ourselves on a track built by a system that has completely lost its brakes. Corporate greed and institutional momentum stole the handle. So what do you do when the train won't stop going? You jump off. You don't try to fix a machine that was built to break us. You turn your backs on it. The solution is radical change and radical autonomy. 1, stop believing the lie. Admit the script has changed. Stop playing a rigged game. Focus on the micro, the small stuff. Prioritize family units. Prioritize family needs and cultivate your own alternative living space. Build real community. Grow a mutually supportive community, an alternative network that rejects violence and deception. And then consider becoming a universal class. Build physical skills. Become fiercely self-reliant and own assets that don't rely on crumbling infrastructure. And finally, starve the beast, my personal favorite. Refuse to hustle for the empty stuff that only makes the rich richer. Refuse to perform labor or buy products from the companies that feed this sick system. Working for yourself, work for your community, work for a vision that matters. Living as an expat gives you the distance to see the matrix for what it is when you step out of the noise and realize you don't have to play a rigged game. You can write your own script. If this speaks to your inner skeptic, if you're just tired of the hustle, help me grow this space. Hit subscribe so we can work to change who owns our country. If you want a deeper dive, subscribe to my Substack. Of course, everybody on the fucking planet has a Substack to join. This is where I practice daily journaling for emotional clarity and resilience. It's free. And if you want to support an independent creator sitting outside of the matrix, throw a little fuel in the tank and buy me a coffee. The links are in the description below. Until next time, lead, follow, or get out of the way.